Steven and Robin are walking up the stairs to the front door. They are dressed up for his parents' anniversary party.
Are you sure you're okay?
I'm fine.
You're not fine. When you say you're fine, I know you're not fine.
I just want to get this over with so I can go home and get some rest.
I wanted you to know I invited your friend. He was concerned about you.
Great. I feel bad. I've been kind of blowing Rick off lately.
Not Rick.
The door opens after ringing the doorbell. Standing there, dressed to kill, is the cable guy.
You can only come in if you came to rage.
Steven is shocked. Robin walks in. When Steven walks in, the cable guy stops him.
Is this guy cool?
To Steven.
I'm just joking. Come on in.
They walk inside. Interior, Steven's father's house. Steven turns to Robin. What is he doing here?
I invited him.
When did you invite him?
At lunch the other day.
At lunch? You had lunch with him? The cable guy walks over.
Hello, you look great.
She gives him a peck on the cheek. Steven winces.
And you are a vision. Hello, Steven. You're looking rested.
Come here. He pulls the cable guy aside.
Stubborn. Stubborn, sorry.
It's fine.
Steven, what's with you tonight? I'm getting some really weird energy from you.
Maybe it's because I just got out of prison where you sent me. I should just drag you to the police right now.
You can if you like, but I'd hate to have to show Robin this.
He takes out a Polaroid of Steven kissing the hooker. You son of a bitch! The cable guy quickly puts it away.
Come on, Steven. Let's just have a good time tonight.
Robin, Earl, and Steven's mother walk over.
Steven, your mother and I had a long talk with your friend Larry here when we came over to screw in the cable.
Steven's mother to the cable guy. Thank you again for that.
We owe you a serious apology. I didn't realize the seriousness of your problems. You're obviously going through some kind of personal hell, and I need you to be more understanding. We didn't get involved with things like this when I was your age.
Steven cannot figure out what kind of lie the cable guy has told them.
I know we haven't been there for you lately, but we're going to see you through this, because we are family. I love you.
He gives him a big hug. Steven grimaces. Steven's mother. You've got a good friend here. They walk into the next room where the entire family is gathered for pre-dinner cocktails. Steven's brother, Pete, walks over to Steven. He carries a baby in a pouch. Pete.
Hey, buddy, we're with you. Keep your chin up.
As the cable guy, that's funny that like cable guy's been lying to everyone, like he's crazy, he needs help. Now I'm going to tell people before we read this, because we were looking at this before, this scene's a lot different from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie, they talk for a little bit and then go into porno password. In the script here, they actually have this whole segment with Steven's nephew and the cable guy before we even get to that.
Ties into the bathroom beating with a character of Owen Wilson. And
it does.
That's when they basically figure. That's when Steven figures it out, and then I think it hints at Chip Douglas knowing that Steven figured it out.
Yes.
And then they carry it on and actually flesh that whole scene out. Like
the third act actually has a lot more of a fight between the cable guy and Steven in this. And the cable guy, you figure out Steven putting it together a little bit, but I guess maybe Ben Stiller thought maybe he already got it. But I really like it in this script how it does this. But I was just letting you guys know this is not the same as the scene in the movie.
Alrighty.
Interior, dining room later. As the cable guy charms Steven's family, we pan across all of the guests laughing and enjoying dinner.
So Steven is carrying this battle axe, and he's chasing me, swinging like a madman. I'm yelling at him, hey, it's just a show!
Steven's sister. He always takes things too seriously.
Tell me something I don't know. This guy almost took my head off.
Everybody laughs. The camera moves to Steven. He stares at the cable guy, his eyes filled with rage. Steven's point of view. The cable guy is talking and eating in slow motion. On Steven watching him, he is in normal motion. On the cable guy, eating in slow motion. On Steven, getting very irritated. Steven, what are you doing? On the cable guy, as he talks, we realize he has not been in slow motion. He's just been pretending he's in slow motion.
It's from Goodfellas. Remember the intro scene at the bar? I'm Johnny 2 times.
He moves in slow motion some more. Everyone laughs. Tony, Steven's 6-year-old nephew, runs to the cable guy with the toy gun. Pow, pow, pow!
Pow!
You're under arrest! Everyone laughs. The cable guy starts running around the table. Tony makes chase, laughing all the way.
You'll never catch me, copper.
The cable guy stops, grabs a piece of asparagus, and puts it between his lips and nose, and pretends it's a mustache.
I'm gonna wear a disguise.
Steven looks at the cable guy and remembers something. Steven's point of view. He sees the cable guy. The artist's rendering of the man who beat up Robin's date appears in front of the cable guy's face. Steven realizes that they are the same person. Steven gets a frightened look on his face. The kid points his gun at the cable guy and yells, "Pow!" The cable guy drops to the floor like he's been shot.
Ooh. Oh, you got me.
The cable guy plays dead. The kid walks over to him. When he gets close, the cable guy lunges to grab him.
Nobody messes with me and lives.
The kid screams with laughter and runs away. The cable guy chases him around the table and out of the room. Steven instantly fears for Tony's safety. He follows them. Interior, library. A moment later, Steven walks around looking for Tony. Suddenly, from behind a couch, Tony and the cable guy pop out.
Boo!
Steven flies back, scared out of his wits. Tony and the cable guy start laughing hysterically. They have a grand old time enjoying their little prank.
Oh man, you should have seen your face. It was classic.
Very funny. Tony, go to your mother. Tony immediately starts crying. He leaves.
Look what you've done.
I know you beat up Robin's date. The cable guy's laughter stops on a dime.
I guess I did what you didn't have the guts to do.
You stay away from Robin.
Don't mess with me. I'm feeling like a part of the family, and I like it. You should try it sometime.
Steven's mother enters. Oh my, you two look like brothers. Come on back. We're all having coffee in the living room. Cable guy quickly starts walking back to the dining room.
Are you guys trying to fatten me up? Because if you are, you're doing a damn good job of it.
Steven slowly follows him. Everyone is sitting around having coffee in the living area. The cable guy is writing words on torn up pieces of paper.
You guys ever played Porno Password?
No, but I like the sound of it.
It's the adult version of the popular television game show. Robin, you're on my team, and Steven, you're with Mom.
And then he points to everyone else.
You're the audience.
The cable guy sits next to Robin. Steven and his mother sit across from them. The cable guy looks at the word and then shows it to the family so none of the contestants can see it. He whispers it in Steven's ear.
The password is vagina.
Steven winces. I really don't want to play this game. Looks at his mother. Woman. Woman. Man? No. Cable guy to Robin.
Penis. Penis.
Robin concentrates hard, but she can't figure it out.
Penis. Penis.
Vagina?
Yes!
He high-fives Robin. Everyone laughs.
I thought it was going to be schlong. Oh!
Everyone laughs. They are all having a great time, except Steven. The cable guy looks at the next word, shows it to the family privately, then whispers to Steven. I remember that the dad being like, I thought it was going to be schlong in the movie. Okay, cable guy.
The password is nipple.
Can I pass?
Come on, Steven. Don't be a stick in the mud.
Breast. Breast. Tit? Cable guy.
Hard.
Gestures like there was another word after it.
Hard.
Erection? Steven looks like he might kill the cable guy. Center. Center. Nipple? Everyone cheers. Woo! I can't believe I got it. I was going to say areola.
I wish you did, because we'd be ahead.
The cable guy shows the word to everyone, then whispers in Steven's ear.
The password is, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. It's either clitoris or clitoris.
I can't say that to my mother.
Hey, she's a grown woman. She can handle it.
Come on, Steven, we're just having fun.
No, I've had enough. I can't do this. This guy's ruining my life. I won't sit here and play X-rated party games with him.
Steven, I really think you're overreacting.
I am not overreacting. You're all being fooled by this guy. He's a felon, for Christ's sakes. Steven points to the cable guy. I hate you. Get out of my life.
I'm sorry, everyone. If I am a nuisance, I will leave. I would never stay where I'm not wanted.
Robin to the cable guy. You're not a nuisance. Please don't go. Steven, you're being an asshole.
Yeah, Steven, it seems like you're the one with the problem.
What? You have no idea what this guy's really like.
I'll just go.
See what I mean?
Steven, what's with you tonight? Gets
close to Steven and whispers.
Robin showed me that birthmark on her left shoulder. It's very sexy.
Stephen punches the cable guy in the face, sending him to the floor. All of the women, including Robin, run to help him. Robin to Stephen. I can't believe you! The cable guy gets up.
I'm fine. Thank you for a delightful evening. To Stephen. I forgive you. He exits. Everyone looks at Stephen like he is the devil.
You don't understand. Everyone walks away from Stephen. The party is over. Exterior driveway. Later. Robin is venting her anger at Stephen as they walk to the car.
I just think you're completely out of line. I don't know what's happening to you these days.
Stephen gets fed up. Robin, this guy's a sociopath. He leaves messages on my machine night and day. He shows up wherever I go. He won't leave me alone.
Sounds familiar.
You know he was the one who beat up your date at the restaurant? That's right. And he gave you the free cable. It wasn't me.
But you took credit for it?
That's what he wanted. He was manipulating me. It feels so good to be honest about this. We're finally communicating. I've been wanting to tell you for so long, but he's blackmailing me.
Blackmailing you how?
With the photograph.
Of what?
Me with a prostitute.
What?
He set it up. He invited this woman to my party and didn't tell me she was a prostitute. I'm so glad we can talk about this.
When did you have a party?
When we weren't communicating. I invited you. You were out on a date.
And you were with a prostitute?
She seduced me. That's what they do. They're professionals. And I didn't even know she was a prostitute.
So that makes it better?
That's not the point. The point is this guy has been setting me up. He's responsible.
He didn't have sex with a whore. You did.
Robin, you don't...
I don't want to hear it. Breaking up was the best thing we ever did. You have some serious problems, Stephen, and it's not my responsibility to help you. I am only responsible for my own happiness.
Where did that come from?
It was Jerry Springer's final thought. She exits.
Okay, so what I love about this that's not it, because this scene's not in the movie, is that Stephen, they have a confrontation over the prostitute thing, the way they do, and then Stephen really, like, that whole sequence, I love that. It's so funny to me. Like, she seduced me. That's what they do. They're professionals.
It's like he really comes off, like, they add more... In the third act in the script, we found out that they really start fleshing out Stephen more, and they didn't really do that in the movie. So it's much more interesting.
Reading the script, basically, what we've learned is that we always thought, in our opinion, that Stephen was kind of flat in the movie. We always thought it was maybe Matthew Broderick. But now I'm seeing that Ben Stiller cut some things and kind of told Matthew Broderick to pitch the performance a certain way. And I think it hurt the character. Because this sequence here, like, it kind of shows you Stephen's kind of a piece of crap, sort of.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, he makes a lot of bad judgment calls.
And then makes excuses for them later.
And he was really, like, earlier in the movie, you could tell, like, Stephen was really, like, okay with the friend idea for a second when he was starting to benefit from all this crap.
Yeah.
But when it started to become inconvenience to him, okay, now I don't want you around. I just want Robin.
Well, even the next day when he's having breakfast with him, he says, I really like that girl. I'd like to talk to her soon or call her.
Right.
So he's planning on doing something outside of Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Which means maybe he's not that in love with Robin.
Yeah, I don't think he's very genuine. And actually, there's so many, he's like such a three-dimensional character.
Yeah, it opens up layers now to Stephen that maybe Stephen is kind of the antagonist in a way, more so than what we see now in the movie, where he feels like a victim. Interesting, though, just shows you that there's a different movie.
Yeah, it's such a versatile movie. There's so many different ways you can go about it. Like, this one definitely kicks off more of the horror aspect, and you're going to see that a little bit later on.
And we honestly now have been rereading, and I think we both agreed on this, just to give you guys as fans, we both think Ben Stiller should have played Steven's part in the movie,
definitely.
and Matthew Broderick should have played the Stan Sweet role.
Which would have been hilarious.
I think so, as a cameo, because Ben Stiller really wasn't the name at the time to make that joke as funny. He's just a guy in that movie.
Right.
Where Ben Stiller actually, I think, would be a much better Steven, because I'm seeing all these scenes in my head with Ben Stiller, and they're just better. The line delivery... Because Ben Stiller's just better at playing this kind of role. Matthew Broderick's almost too quirky to play a normal guy, and Ben Stiller's the king of playing a normal guy.
Right.
Like, that's what he did in Meet the Parents and stuff like that. That's what this would be. Rick is running to an editing bay. Steven follows him. The interior is a newsroom at night. I'm sorry I've been blowing you off.
You bet your ass you've been blowing me off.
It's just this guy's really doing a number on me.
I told you not to hang out with him, man.
You're the one who told me to offer him money so I could get free cable.
You didn't tell me he was a psychopath. I'll see if I can get my friend and research to track him down. What's his name again?
Ernie Douglas.
Ernie Douglas. Ernie Douglas. Why does that sound so familiar?
Interior. Steven's office. Next day. Steven's secretary Joan is watching a news report about the Sam Sweet trial on a mini television. On the TV, a female prosecutor gestures with the shotgun as she questions a policeman. Joan changes channels. The image changes to Larry King interviewing Alan Dershowitz regarding the abuse excuse. Back to scene. Steven walks over to Joan. Did anyone notice I'm late?
What are you talking about? You've been here for an hour.
Thank you. Steven walks into his office. Interior, Steven's office, continuous. Steven walks behind his desk. He notices something which disturbs him. His computer is on. He clicks a button, and a message comes on the screen. The screen. Good morning, Steven. Have a wonderful day. Here's an extra special surprise. The image comes on the screen. It is black and white surveillance video, digitized to the computer format. The video is of Robin and Steven talking. It is the conversation they had before they watched Sleepless in Seattle. Work's good.
How's Hal?
Don't get me started. That guy has no vision. It's like working for Mr. Magoo. He's just worthless.
It's just great that you're getting to do it. It's a real step up.
I know. Now if only someone at corporate smartened up enough to dump Hal, then I could really get some stuff done. The scene starts again. It's on a loop. Steven is aghast. He looks up and sees the scene is playing on every computer in the office. He gets a panicked look on his face. Is Hal seeing this? He runs out of his office to prevent Hal from viewing this. Office, continuous. Steven runs to the edge of the stairs and looks down. Steven's point of view. He sees Hal downstairs walking into his office. Back to Steven. He runs down the stairs towards Hal's office as fast as he can. Hal's office, interior. Steven walks in. Hal is sitting behind his desk, staring angrily at the computer. He looks up and sees Steven.
Don't worry. I didn't see it, because I have no vision.
Steven knows what's coming. Steven walks to his car carrying a box filled with belongings. He has been fired. Suddenly a car alarm beeps. Its headlights flash, then another, and another. Soon he is surrounded by screaming car alarms and flashing headlights. He looks around in fear. Before we go into this, I gotta say, I don't know if Steven would get fired for that. I'm not sure if he could get fired for that. Because somebody pranked the thing and put a private conversation he was having, which is illegal, by the way.
Well, then, that's just a case of nepotism in the workplace, really. And
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Steven could get a lawyer and avoid this situation. Like, I don't think Hal could fire him. I really don't. I don't think Hal could fire him because he talked shit about him and somebody leaked it on the computer. Because you're allowed to talk shit about your boss when you're not at work.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, why isn't he allowed to say he dislikes Hal? So I'm never really sure if I got that plot point very well.
Yeah.
I always thought it was a little, like, contrived. Because, like, I don't know if that would actually work out in real life at all. I feel like Steven would just tell Hal, like, well, hey, fuck you, this is a private conversation. But, okay, so Steven's in a car garage and all of them are going off. Chip! Chip! This isn't funny! Where are you? Suddenly, they all stop simultaneously. And then the only sound is a minical laugh echoing through the garbage. Steven runs to his car and gets in. He drives up to the ramp in a panic. From out of nowhere, the cable guy steps into the beam of his headlights. He could not stop in time. The cable guy is thrown into the air, then lands on the back of the roof of the car. Before he falls off, he grabs onto the bar of the luggage rack. Yeah, that's not in the movie, him go up into the car. Steven looks through his rear view window and sees the cable guy staring at him. As Steven continues to drive, the cable guy climbs onto the roof of the car, then jumps on the hood and stares at Steven through the windshield. Steven swerves around, almost losing control of the car. I mean, this really becomes a horror movie.
I know.
Leave me alone. I have no job, no girlfriend, no family anymore. It's over. You won.
Oh no, it's not over. It's just getting started.
He turns a corner very sharply, throwing the cable guy off his car. The cable guy falls to the ground, rolling many times, then leaps to his feet, using the momentum of the roll, and runs off, scampering like a supernatural bug. Interior newsroom night. On the TV, the local news.
The jury has notified the judge that they are very close to reaching a verdict and would like to keep deliberating into the evening hours.
Rick is sitting at his desk. A female researcher walks over and sits down. Researcher, there are 5 people named Ernie Douglas in this country. 2 are African American, 1 is 85 years old, 1 is 11 years old, and the last one is in a wheelchair.
So we're nowhere. Ernie Douglas, Ernie Douglas.
She begins tapping her foot nervously.
Could you stop that?
Researcher, don't snap at me. I'm doing this as a favor. He continues staring at her two-tone wingtip style shoe. Rick has an epiphany.
Wait, could you start that again? Start tapping your foot again.
She begins tapping. Rick begins humming the theme to My Three Sons. Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. She joins Rick in humming the My Three Sons theme. I'm getting a lisp.
Right?
They sing louder and louder. Na 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 na. The phone rings. Steven runs into the front door and picks up the phone. Steven, hello?
Bingo! My 3 sons.
Chip and Ernie Douglas. Rick sits at his desk. The researcher is at his side.
I've got a list of every cable installer fired in the last 4 years. Every one of these guys has the same physical description as our friend. He reads from the list. Murray Slaughter, Brendan Walsh, Sam Malone, Alex Rager. There was one guy who even liked to be called the Big Ragu.
Carmine from Laverne and Shirley.
That's so sad that you know that. Anyway, the cable guy in town fired a guy 6 months ago named Darren Stevens. He stole the truck and disappeared. That's our guy.
Steven finds a small camera in one of the television speakers. He rips it out. So he doesn't even work for the cable company. Quick cuts of Steven bolting doors and locking windows.
He was fired for beating up a customer who yelled at him for being late. A company in Denver thinks they might have a lead on a guy who he really is. If I were you, I'd lock down tonight. I'll call you when I get some more info.
Steven is watching television. He struggles to stay awake. On the TV, court TV, the prosecutor in the Sam Sweet trial is speaking. Don't let your memories of these cute twins distract you from the fact that this funny star of a situation comedy killed his own brother in cold blood, then called the police and said he was killed by an Asian gang. There was no laugh track on that night. The prosecutor's words turn into gibberish as Steven's eyes go heavy, and he falls asleep. Steven is asleep, slowly waking up. The gibberish turns into clearly spoken words, only this time the voice sounds a little more familiar. On the TV, we see the Sam Sweet trial. A prosecutor makes a passionate, final summation. We reveal that it is the cable guy.
This man killed his own brother. Some people don't even have a brother. The camera pushes in on the cable guy's face. He looks into the camera. Do they, Steven? Are you listening to me? Don't shut it off. Don't shut it. Click.
On Steven, he shuts off the TV and walks out of the room. The entire apartment appears much larger now. Steven walks down the hallway. He looks into the living room and sees Rick.
Why do you keep icing me, man?
Elongated bathroom, continuous. He opens the door and sees an elongated version of his bathroom. The shower is steaming. The 2 8-year-old Sweet twins stand in front of it looking very spooky. He quickly closes the door. I can't believe that was cut. That's so brilliant. Interior hallway, continuous. He continues down the hallway and opens the door to the dining room. But when he opens it, he sees Robin's bedroom. Robin is in bed. A man wearing a cable installer's uniform is smothering her with a pillow. The man turns. It is Steven. He quickly closes the door. Man, even that, like the metaphor there, he's smothering her.
I know,
like,
it's
why
so
did they?
literal.
Interior hallway, continuous. He hears someone pounding on the front door. He opens the door. Nobody is there. Then the cable guy pops into frame, holding a cut cord.
You owe me.
Steven slams the door, then looks through the peephole. The cable guy begins to run full speed at the door. As he does, he gets bigger and bigger, and more distorted as he comes closer to the peephole. Bang! He hits the door. Then he disappears from frame. A moment later, he stumbles back into frame, then walks to the far end of the hall, and runs again to the door even faster. Bang! He staggers back into position again. He runs towards the door. Steven's hallway, continuous. Steven runs away from the front door. The door smashes open, and the cable guy runs after him. Steven runs away from the hallway, runs away down the hallway. The hallway appears to be a mile long. He tries to run fast, but appears to move in almost slow motion. Every time he looks over his shoulder, he sees the cable guy running at an alarmingly fast rate of speed towards him, grunting like a wolf. He looks back another time, and the cable guy is gone. He keeps running, and the hallway starts getting smaller and smaller, till he can barely fit through. He becomes trapped at the end of the hall. Arms come out of the window behind him and grab him. 50 cable guy faces pop out of the wall on both sides. I just want to hang out.
No big deal.
Steven breaks free of the hands and runs into his living room. Interior living room, continuous. Steven runs in. The television is on. He sits on the edge of the couch, not sure what to do. He puts his head down. When he looks up, he sees the cable guy's face on the television set. The cable guy's face stretches out from the television, getting larger and larger.
Steven, you're just like me. We're cut from the same cloth. We're one and the same.
Then it opens its mouth and swallows Steven, pulling him into the television. So Freddy Krueger.
Right.
So Freddy Krueger. Steven wakes up in a cold sweat. Steven, Oh my god. She's right. I am a smotherer. I'm just like him. Hello?
It didn't have to come to this, Steven. We could have been blood brothers.
I love that line. Rick told me you were fired from the cable company. You're not even a real cable guy. Close up on the cable guy's face.
Do you feel good now that you've hurt me? Well, now I'm going to have to hurt you. I'm going to take away what you hold dearest to this world.
I swear to God, if you touch...
Oh, could you hold on a second? I've got a call waiting. It'll just be a sec. Click.
No,
Steve-
isn't the movie, doesn't Jim Carrey go like, I have a call waiting. Just be a sec. Right there. I'm sorry. He clicks over. Steven just sits there, waiting some more. Then the cable guy clicks back.
Sorry about that. Where was I? Oh, yeah. You're going to have to feel my wrath. Yeah, he just sits there on the phone. He goes click, and it sits there. And then he does it again. And then he's like, I know you were there.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
I think he even says
no,
it
I
in the
know,
movie.
but I know you're there. So yeah, that was funny. Steve,
Click. I'm back now. Sorry.
don't
about
do this. There must be some way for us to work this out.
that. I wish there was. Oh, Steven. I'm just so tired. So very tired.
Let's talk in person. Where are you?
I'm close. So very close.
The camera rotates and reveals that the cable guy is actually lying down. Then the camera rises up and reveals that the cable guy is lying in the floorboards right underneath Steven. Oh my god, that is freaky. That is not in the movie.
That's a callback to the beginning of the script
Yeah,
as well.
a single beam of light shine. Oh yeah, because he thinks there's someone watching. Yeah, a single beam of light shines across his face as he speaks. A large daddy long-legged spider crawls across his face. He never acknowledges it. Yeah, that's in the movie. This
Yeah.
daddy, but I don't know if it came off that he was underneath Steven.
No, I don't. Yeah, it didn't come off the way. I always thought he was in his van.
Yeah, me too. I like this a lot better.
Yeah.
Like he's right.
Well, maybe
below
they
Steve.
did, and it just didn't deliver well.
Yeah, visually, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Okay, sorry.
All right, ready. Cable guy line here. You know, I don't think you're right for Robin. She needs someone who can be sensitive to her needs, someone who understands her soul.
You stay away from her.
Aren't we the control freak? Looks like you're starting to sweat.
I got the camera. You can't see me. Steven begins to pick his face.
Oh yeah? Then why are you picking your face?
Steven throws the phone. When it lands, we see the speakerphone light is on. He begins looking for the camera. He smashes his TV. Steven tearing through everything as a... Did he smash his TV in the movie? I don't remember that.
I think so, maybe.
That's kind of poignant, though, thematically, him smashing the television.
Yeah, definitely. You're getting closer.
Steven overturns a CD rack.
Pity. Such a nice CD rack. You know, sometimes the answer is right under your nose.
Steven looks at the floorboards, then runs out of the room, and returns a moment later with an axe. He starts chopping at the floorboards, tearing them out. Okay, that's not in the movie.
No.
He's looking for you like Nazis looking for the Jews hidden in a house. He looks down into the hole. He sees nothing. Then a hand grabs him by the shirt and pulls his face into the space in the floor. The cables guy's face appears in front of him, screaming like a madman. He licks Steven's face quickly, then disappears back into the hole. Steven falls back. He hears the cable guy scuttle away.
Okay, like, this script makes him seem like a supernatural poltergeist.
No,
or
it's a
something.
horror movie.
Like, he's doing things that are, like, in the realm of reality, but, like, to the extreme.
Like, the comedy movie turns into a horror film now. Like,
Yeah,
the third act of Cable Guy tries to kind of keep the comedy. This
Yeah.
is straight up a horror film.
Yeah,
at
in the
this
film,
point.
it's like, it comes full circle. It's like a 90s comedy. This one's like, it's just straight Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, it straddles
Nightmare
for
on
being a
Elm Street,
90s
Friday the
comedy.
13th. Like, it's...
Well, you realize now the structure
so
of the
ambitious.
structure of the script was to be a 90s comedy that becomes a horror film in a way.
Yeah, you
That
can
becomes
definitely
one of
see
those-
that.
Which is very clever. Steven sticks his head back down into the hole, only to see that the dust in the floorboards swirl in the aftermath of the cable guy's exit. Now, imagine Jim Carrey would have ripped out of the floorboards and
That would have
grabbed.
been amazing.
He hears the cable guy crawling through the walls above him, then through the side walls. Imagine the sound editing in this
see,
scene.
I think this would be more like he's paranoid and crazy now.
Yeah,
Like
it's in his head.
Like Steven's really
And away
freaking
into
out.
the distance, when it clears, he discovers a small makeshift observation room has been set up in a crawl space.
Oh, crap.
That is so scary. There are a few photos pasted to the floorboards. One shows the cable guy as a child standing next to his mother. Steven's picture has been pasted into those photos, making him look like the cable guy's brother. The only other photo is of Jerry Springer. Steven sees a small television monitor and a set of headphones from which the cable guy has been watching him. He looks at a cellular phone. Every speed dial on the back of the phone says Steven next to it. Yeah, in the movie, they don't go this far.
I wish they would have had it. Man, that would have made it
Because
so
he's
much
completely
better.
an obsessive stalker.
Psycho, yeah.
There's a scene I realize it's not in the script that's in the movie. The flashback to when he's a kid, And he's like, I thought you were going to bring me home a brother. And she's like, that's why mommy's going to happy hour. Do you remember that? He turns on the TV? Yeah.
And that's supposed to be the whole basis of this guy's, like, depth. And it's like, this guy is far more of a he's just such a multi-layered
I love this
character.
that he has a crawl space in his apartment. He's been watching Steven.
So fucked up.
No, that's so dark.
Because they hints at it, like, he thinks people are crawling in his house.
They hint at it in the movie, but they never go there. But in this, to actually go there, it's like, I can see if Ben Stiller, maybe he didn't want to go there, maybe the studio didn't, because it changes what the movie is. But I think it makes it, honestly, a better movie. I think this is a better movie than Cable. And I love Cable Guy. We both love Cable Guy.
Pretty well. But yeah, let's get back to the script.
Sorry, yeah. It's worth talking about, because for a lot of people maybe didn't know.
Yeah, definitely.
There was a different movie here originally in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Exterior, Steven's apartment, building night. It is raining lightly outside. Steven is in his car. He pulls away quickly. Interior, Rick's newsroom night. Rick sits at his desk. The phone rings.
Hello?
Super close up. What the audience will think is will think is Steven's mouth, actually the Cable Guy speaking on a cellular phone. Hey Rick, I need to meet you right away. I've got some information about this crazy Cable Guy.
Me too. I got the whole story.
That's great. Let's meet at the old school at 9:30.
Well, why all the way out there?
I think he's been following me. Don't be late, buddy. Steven's car screeches to a stop. He runs to Robin's door and starts knocking. Her female neighbor opens the door. Be home! Be home!
Go away! I remember you. You're her obsessive boyfriend. She said you might come here. I'm calling the police.
She closes her door and runs off. Rick drives up, then walks into the building. Rick walks through the school looking for Steven.
Steven! Steven!
In the distance, he sees Steven standing in the shadows. Hey, Rick. I'm really excited to hear what you found out about this nut.
I hit the holy grail. This guy is deeply troubled. Only child, his mother was arrested for prostitution and phone solicitation. Apparently, she was some kind of sex pioneer.
Wow, this is not in the movie.
I know.
So Rick...
He was discharged from the Marines. He got mad at the sergeant, so he set a weapons silo in DEFCON 2 using a Radio Shack computer. And that's not the half of it.
As Rick gets closer, Steven steps forward out of the shadows, and we reveal that it is not Steven, but the Cable Guy, dressed like Steven, doing a perfect impression. Actually, the real voice of Steven looped into the Cable Guy's mouth, with a very slight lisp.
Really? Tell me more.
Rick's face turns to white. He stumbles backwards, trying to get away.
I'm very interested in learning everything I can about that whacked-out cable installer.
He turns and runs. He is 15 feet away from the Cable Guy. The camera pushes in on the Cable Guy. He pulls out a staple gun and fires. We hear, but we do not see Rick yelp and fall.
It sounds like he might hurt somebody.
Steven is driving in his car. Man, that scene...
Oh my god! Like, no, because we thought earlier it was like a really sweet scene of him like trying to learn how to get rid of his lisp. He's using it to destroy Steven.
No, it's not.
So ironic.
He's trying to like eat Steven and become him and get Robin and like take over his life.
Yeah.
Like he wants to be Steven and live in his flesh is what I'm feeling now. And I did not get that in the movie at all.
I want to see how far it goes.
Scary. Mm-hmm. That's what no, this third act's totally different. Steven is driving in his car, cellular phone rings, he picks it up. Hello? Cable Guy talks like a game show host.
Nosy friends for 200. This supposed pal of Stevens is currently residing in the intensive care unit of Good Samaritan Hospital.
Rick?
I'm sorry. You didn't answer in the form of question.
He hangs up. Steven's car pulls up. He gets out and runs towards the hospital.
Tacos are done!
Okay.
That's a good place to stop, I guess.